Hello everyone, my name is Anya Hawkins, welcome to my channel. If you never knitted stranded colorwork and you're afraid to try, or you just don't know where to start, or if you tried but had troubles with it, this tutorial is for you. Also, if you are a continental knitter, because I am, and I will demonstrate techniques in that way. When knitting stranded colorwork, there are two main difficulties. First one, to get floats at the back to be of a correct length. When they are done right, the fabric will be elastic, smooth, neat looking, and it will have approximately the same gauge as your stockinette fabric. If the project, let's say a sweater, has colorwork only on some parts of it, like a colorwork yoke, very often those parts end up looking dense and compressed compared to the stockinette parts. That is caused by the floats that are too short. And second difficulty is actually managing two or even several yarns at the same time when you used to handling only one. But what makes it even more difficult is learning to deal with both those aspects at the same time. And the thing is, you don't have to. It is not actually necessary. You can do it in two stages. First, you will learn to make floats, and after that, you will learn how to handle both yarns at the same time. And now let me show you how to do it in close-up. I have here a swatch that imitates a hat or a sleeve or a body of a sweater. In short, it's something in the round. Now let's take some simple colorwork motif, something like that. For this technique we will be working only with one yarn at a time, and we will always start with contrasting color one. We will be knitting contrasting color stitches, and main color stitches we will be slipping without knitting them. While we do that, we will learn how to make the floats at the back to be of a correct length. Then we will make a second pass through the same round, but this time we will be knitting main color stitches, and contrasting color stitches we will be slipping. First round is knit 2 in background color or main color, then knit 1 in contrasting color, and then knit 1 in main color. If you mentally continue this line, you see that it is knit 3 in main color, knit 1 in contrasting color, repeat. Now take contrasting color yarn, drop your main color, slip without knitting first 2 main color stitches, and then knit 1 in contrasting color. Now slip 3 in main color. Next is the most important part of the whole process. Before knitting our next contrasting color stitch, we need to spread out stitches that we just slipped as wide as possible. And while you do that, don't grip your working yarn too tightly, because from it the float at the back will be formed. Now that they are spread wide, you can knit your contrasting color stitch. And again, slip 3 main color stitches and see how little space they take on the needle. If you knit your contrasting color stitch right away, the float at the back will be too short and we need it to be more relaxed. So spread your stitches as wide as they can go and only then knit your contrasting color stitch. This is how we work the first pass of this round. Slip 3, spread them out, knit 1. Look at the back of your work and you can see that the floats that are forming from contrasting color yarn are quite relaxed. That will result in a fabric that will look neat and will have good elasticity. Let's continue to the end of the round. And last stitches, knit 1 in contrasting color and slip 1. Now we will make a second pass through the same round but with main color yarn. Drop your contrasting color yarn, take your main color yarn, knit 2 in main color, slip 1 in contrasting color, and spread it out. Even if it's only one stitch, you should always take your time to spread your knitting on the needle, because even one stitch long float, if it's too tight, can mess up your fabric. Next round is done with the same principle. Drop your main color yarn, take your contrasting color yarn. On the first pass, contrasting color stitches are knitted, main color stitches are slipped without knitting. Don't forget your spreading motion. While I'm knitting this round, let's talk more about the technique. You can knit your color work always in that way, by making passes through the rounds with one color at a time. And it can be not just 2 colors, but 3, 4, 5 or more. The more colors you have, the more passes you will need to do. And the result will be great. But that method has several disadvantages that you should know about. First is the obvious one. It takes almost twice as long to knit like that, because you're doing every round in 2 stages. And second disadvantage is that in complicated pattern it is easier to get lost. Let me show you an example. Our third round of this pattern is a lot like first one. Only when we worked first round, below was one colored fabric, and now we have pattern below. So we're knitting our one contrasting color stitch, slipping 3, spreading them out. So what will happen when we finished working with contrasting color yarn on first pass? The stitches that we knitted, this middle one, and the stitches that we slipped are in the same color. So you have to follow your chart very carefully when making the second pass to not mix them up. After the second pass, everything is back to normal. Now that you got used to spreading your stitches on the right needle every time that you change colors, you wouldn't be having problems with floats while you're looking for a way to hold 2 yarns at a time. Experiment, because everyone's knitting style is different, and what is comfortable for me may not work for you. But I will show you how I am holding 2 yarns. I put both yarns on my forefinger with contrasting color yarn on the left and main color on the right. To separate them, I put my middle finger between them, like that, and then I tension the yarn with the rest of my fingers as I usually do when knitting. And when I'm knitting, I'm picking up the color that I knit right from the forefinger. I don't have space between it and my knitting. My forefinger with yarns is very close, and it is very comfortable for me to just pick one of the yarns with my right needle. And when knitting, the most important part again is this spreading motion. Every time you're changing the colors, you should spread your stitches on the right needle, so the floats at the back will be relaxed. This spreading motion should become second nature when knitting color work. If you do that, no matter how exactly you hold in your yarns, your colorwork gauge will be very close to your stockinette gauge. And you will never get this scrunched up look in your finished items, where colorwork parts are narrower and denser than stockinette parts. In the examples I showed you, the floats are no bigger than 3 stitches wide. But it is not always that easy. Sometimes the floats can get very big, and that leads to problem, like you can snag them with your jewelry or just with fingers when putting the garment on. So long floats you'll need to catch. And while doing this beginner-friendly technique, it is easy to do. Let me show you an example. Let's say we need to do a pattern knit 3 in contrasting color, knit 10 in main color. Let's do that. We will knit first pass as usual with contrasting color yarn. We will knit our 3 stitches, and then we will need to slip 10 stitches. But it is not comfortable to slip all 10 of them and only then start spreading them apart. You will have to let go of this yarn and spread them and then pick it up again. It is not so comfortable. So instead we will be, after knitting our 3 contrasting color stitches, we will be slipping them in portion. Slip several, spread them out, don't hold onto your yarn too tightly so it can form a float at the back, then slip another several stitches, spread them out and slip another portion until you will slip all the stitches that you need to slip, and then knit your contrasting color stitches. See how long this float is. You definitely will need to catch it. We will do that on the second pass. Every float that is wider than 5 stitches, you better catch. 5 stitches I find is still okay to leave just like that. I knitted my first pass while forming those long floats, and my round ends in a way that contrasting color is hanging here quite far away from the beginning of the round. In that case, before dropping it and taking main color yarn again, I just cross them so it will stay at the beginning of the round. And now on this pass we will need to slip our contrasting color stitches and knit this wide stretch of main color stitches. I will knit approximately half of them. I knitted 5 stitches, so on stitch number 6 I will catch this float at the back. And what you need to do is to pick up this long float and put it onto your left needle. And now the next stitch we will knit together with this float. And then we will continue knitting other stitches. Instead of one long float, we get 2 shorter ones. This time we were in a situation where we needed to catch a contrasting color float. But what if it is the other way around? If you're in a situation where you will be making a long stretch of contrasting color stitches on your first pass, then on the second pass, your main colored yarn will be forming long floats. In that case, you will catch those long floats on the next round. Now I am on the next round and we have this long float of the main color at the back, and again I will knit approximately a half of this long stretch of stitches, and then I will locate this float and put it on my left needle, and the next stitch I will knit together. If you are not forgetting to spread your stitches wide when changing colors, the floats at the back will be relaxed enough that you can catch them on the next round. Basically, you catch your floats the same as when you're knitting with both colors. And if you are knitting with both colors at the same time, you will always catch your floats on the next round, just like we did right now. And one more tip. If in your pattern long floats are right on top of each other, don't catch them always in the same place. Do not stack them on top of each other. Move 1 or 2 stitches to the either side. Otherwise, you may see between the stitches color that you are not supposed to. Well, that was it for this tutorial. I hope you find it useful. If you want to try knitting stranded colorwork for the first time, the best project for this is a hat. In my store, there are several free patterns of colorwork hats that you can try. Also on my channel you can find complete video tutorials for them, as well as a tutorial on how to make a lining for a hat for wind protection, and on how to make pom-poms from artificial fur. All links are below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.